enjoy gardening and growing healthy, delicious food so much that I don't want it to come to an end when winter comes. And if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you feel the same way. It was precisely this feeling that led me 4 years ago to start exploring the possibility of having a winter vegetable garden here in the Chicago area. My exploration started, of course, with a Google search, which quickly led me to two experts in winter gardening. And as luck would have it, both like me live in Zone 5. Will Allen, the founder and CEO of Growing Power in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Elliot Coleman, organic farmer and author from Maine. Both of these men grow all winter long in Zone 5. Allen in heated hoop houses and hoop houses heated only by compost as shown here, and Coleman in unheated hoop houses only, using 2 layers of protection, the hoop house and row covers as shown here. These men provided both the inspiration and the information I needed to start my winter garden. In this and subsequent videos, I'll be sharing what I learned, as well as encouraging you to give winter gardening a try. Today I thought I'd talk about some of the basics of starting a winter garden. Location, what to grow, when to start, and how to protect your garden from the elements. Let's start with location. Like your summer garden, you'll want to locate your winter garden in an area that gets as much sun as possible. It's important to note, however, that the area of your yard that gets the most sun in the summer may not be the same area that gets the most sun in the winter. In my case, during the winter months with the sun low in the sky and 2/3 of my yard shaded out by buildings, only the back third of my yard gets sufficient sun for a winter garden. Another thing to consider is the impact of deciduous trees. In my case, the back third of my yard is shaded out by trees in the summer. However, in the winter, with the leaves gone, the trees have much less of an impact. So when picking your location for your winter garden, make sure to take these factors into consideration: the angle of the sun in the sky and the loss of leaves on deciduous trees. Now let's talk about what to grow. The recommendations I'm making are based on the assumption that you have winter temperatures below freezing. If you don't, your options are much less limited. I'm also assuming that you'll be growing under protection, which I'll discuss later. First, I'll talk about plants that are cold hardy, but would require at least 2 levels of protection in order to make it through the winter here in Zone 5. Collard greens, mustard greens, tatsoi, mizuna, arugula, endive, parsley, and lettuce. Fortunately, there are some plants that are even more cold hardy and have survived the entire winter under just 1 layer of protection here in Zone 5. They include kale, spinach, carrots, claytonia, mâche, dandelion, radicchio, and red-veined sorrel. I purchased most, if not all, of my winter garden seeds from johnnyseeds.com or rareseeds.com. Now let's talk about when to plant your seeds for your winter garden. This is difficult to cover in a video because it all depends on when your first frost date is. But as a rough guideline, when planting for your winter garden, plant 1 month later than you'd plant for your fall garden if you're using a single layer of protection, and 2 months later if using 2 layers of protection. But if you'd like to take all the guesswork out of it, I highly recommend that you get your hands on a copy of Elliot Coleman's 4-Season Harvest. Coleman provides tables of cold-hardy crops and when to plant them based on your frost date and the number of layers of protection you'll be using in your winter garden. And now to our final topic, how to protect your garden from the elements. The polytunnel pictured here has a frame made of 1/2-inch PVC pipes. The frame is covered with a single layer of 4 mil greenhouse film purchased from johnnyseeds.com. Under just this single layer of protection, I'm able to grow some of the more cold-hardy crops like kale, claytonia, and mâche all winter long. In front of the polytunnel are 2 glass-covered cold frames. The cold frames provide even more protection than the polytunnel, and they're very easy to build. You can use old windows or storm doors as the glass top, and 2x12s for the sides. And when I want to provide 2 layers of protection, I can take a small cold frame like this and place it inside the polytunnel. Well, I hope that this video has provided some food for thought to those of you who are considering growing a winter garden this year. But before closing, I'd like to hear from those of you who are planning a winter garden this year. Please leave a comment below and let me know what your plans are. And if you're new to winter gardening, or you've been doing it for years. Well, that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, remember, you can change the world 1 yard at a time.